so the icon you're looking for on your desktop screen will be some kind of AutoCAD executable. Now, if you have several programs on here, you want the AutoCAD version. It actually says AutoCAD English, for example, and whatever year you're dealing with. Like I have a ton on my screen, but this right here is the only one that I'm actually interested in. So go ahead and double click on it to fire it up. And when it does come up, it will look something like this. There. Right there. So brief overview. This is the environment. A lot going on here, okay? So you want to take it slow. Here are some of the basics. You've got this bar across the top, which is pretty uniform for most software now. It's a ribbon, and you have different tools of ribbons, okay? So you've got this home ribbon that has tools, the insert ribbon that has tools, annotate, layout, parametric, view. They all have different tools. And they're just sort of laid out in a way that sort of combines some of the tools together. For our starting point, we're going to be looking at mostly the home ribbon and the tools on it. So we don't have to change much up here. Down here, actually let's step up for this for a second. So most programs also have a lot of features at the top left. Like they have an icon or a symbol, this one's got a big A, that has all your basics like save, save as, your file basic options. So it's not a lot of difference than, like for example, Microsoft Word. You're going to have your file save, do things like that involving the program up here. Okay? Next thing, you're going to have to look at this space. Okay? This is where the work gets done. This is the actual environment. This is your graphical user interface kind of thing. This is where you're going to see things that you create. You don't have to create anything just yet, but you're going to see stuff in this space. This is where your drawing sort of occurs. You also see this zone down here at the bottom. This is where you and the computer sort of communicate. It gives you information, you give it information. You can type stuff in down here, it will give you feedback. For example, when I hit this tool right here, you'll notice that it's telling me what to do along the way. So this little zone is where you and the computer talk about what you're doing. So three main areas, we'll call it four main areas. You've got your file options up here. You have your ribbons with tools, you have your workspace right here, and you have your communication, your input-output kind of zone right here. All right, there's your basic format. But it's always better to learn on the fly, so let's do this. Go ahead, you see this button, we're on the home ribbon. See this button called line? Go click on it, and go click around in your space here to draw some lines. Doesn't really matter how many lines or what shape the lines are, just go click around. When you're done clicking and you like the shape that you like, hit escape to end the command. Fast at it though. Don't go too slow, don't be too cautious. We're not doing anything important here. Just go draw a bunch of lines. In fact, actually you're wanting to create a little bit of muscle memory during this phase so that your clicking and your line commands start to align with each other. Like you'll get faster and faster. So be quick about it. Draw stuff. Just draw lots of stuff. And AutoCAD is a vector-based program. So it's not like a Word Paint or something where you just draw pixels. Every creation you make is a vector. It has orientation, it has distance associated with it. Magnitude, if you will. So it is a component that has the ability to be manipulated after you've made it. Alright. Hit escape so that you end your line command. And by the way, that's how you end most commands. Another little tip, if you'll keep your left hand toward the left side of your keyboard and use it for like spacebar and escape, you'll find it speeds you up a lot. So keeping your left hand close to the left hand side of your keyboard is very useful. Now, one of the things we need to do is we need to get rid of the lines you've just drawn. Okay, so hit escape, make sure you have the line command, and give me a suggestion on how you think you can get rid of stuff. Okay, you can actually, well, undo would work because you've only drawn one time. You could make a box and select. You could also click on each line you've done and hit what key on your keyboard you think. Do what? Delete. You can hit delete. In fact, do you remember what the keyboard shortcut is for select all? Control A. You can hit Control A and it selects everything, and you can hit delete. Any one of those techniques work. And for starters, it's easy to do that. Let's just go ahead. You can go ahead and hit Control A, select and delete. Go ahead and select each one, delete it, whatever the case may be. But you want to keep it simple to start off with. Okay. Now, random lines that you've just created are cool and everything, but we need to actually make stuff with structure. So check this out. You hit your line button, and you go hit 1 point, 2 points, and hit escape. We're going to create one line, and I'm going to show you some manipulation with it. So go ahead and do that. Just hit your line command, click once, click twice, and then hit escape to give yourself one line to work with. Doesn't matter how big or what angle. You can do what I have, or you can do something else. Okay? But definitely hit escape at the end. Again, that left hand on your keyboard makes a big difference. Speeds you up. Alright, now watch for a second up on the screen. Notice that my cursor is not associated with a command. I can tell it's not doing a command right now, not running anything, because notice how my cursor changes when I've got a line command active as when I don't. Do you see the difference? What's my cursor doing different? There is inactive, there's active.
The square in the middle is...
Square in the middle is gone. So, little rule of thumb, whenever you see the crosshair not have a square in the middle, that means that it's active, it's wanting you to click a point. So a little side thought there. Anyway, you notice that mine's not, and watch what happens when I just select my line. See that? First of all, it lets you know it's selected by it shows you an outline, or it turns into a dash, but also it's got these 3 blue boxes. What do you think those boxes are used for? Could be. These are referred to as grips. So this little thing right here, this one right here, and this one right here are designed to allow you to manipulate the object you've created. Keep in mind this is called a vector. So watch what happens when I click on this grip. And by the way, I'm just clicking. I'm not clicking and hold. We don't do a lot of holding, click and hold, or drag around on this tool. It's usually just click, because most of this is actually point based. So I just click once, I click there, I can select it again, click there, and I can stretch and resize my line on both ends however I want to. Now watch what happens though when I click on the middle grip. Moves the whole thing, right? Keeps the orientation and just relocates it in space. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to just real quickly click on the line you created, click on the grips, relocate your line a few different places, stretch it out. Just get used to that stretching and relocating of your lines. Alright, so you're able to create this. You can actually move it around, you can draw with it, and I'll go ahead and delete. Now, your next challenge is I want you to draw a line to a certain length. Here's how you do it. You activate the line command, and by the way, this is a great time to look down at the bottom of your screen and see this little zone right down here. I'll draw a little box around it. This little command line down here at the bottom activates things or responds to your activation. So for example, when I clicked on the line command, it changed from whatever it said to the statement, specify the first point. What do you think it's asking for by saying that? What is it wanting? You're right, your first point. By the way, just so you understand, vectors are coordinates, okay? So when you create a line command, I don't know if you've noticed it, but when you move your cursor around, if you look down at the very, very bottom left of your screen, you've got these numbers flashing and changing as you move your cursor. What would you say those numbers are? The very, very bottom left. X, Y, your grid coordinates, your X, Y, and Z location. In fact, if you look at my screen right here, you'll see you've got an X, Y coordinate system. Plasma cutters, all kinds of equipment, everything that we do, 3D printing, doesn't matter, require coordinates. So when I click right here, a point, I'm at coordinate 13.5 in the X, 13.98 in the Y. My next coordinate might be here, 28.45 and 10.026. Now, do those points really matter to us in the grand scheme? Not really. But it is important for you to at least understand how this is really working. And if you use plasma cutting system, that coordinate thing is very important. We'll get into that a little bit later. Yep.
In this one or any other one concerning this,
Yep.
is the Y always first, or?
The XY coordinate system is pretty standard. Yeah, your X coordinate, Y coordinate, and then your Z coordinate once we deal with 3D. But it's pretty standard. All right, so anyway, let's say that I want you to draw a box that is, let's say it's going to be an 8x8 box. Well, here's a way a person could do it. They could click the line command, they could click a point, and they could use that polar tracking that you see popping up right now next to my cursor. They could try to go out and try to hit 8, but as you'll see, it's not really, you can't really do it, okay? You can't make it perfectly click. But what you can do is take your hand off the cursor and just type in 8 and hit enter and then hit escape. That way you know you just created a line that is 8 units long along that path. Watch this again. I'll click it, start point, I head this direction, I type in 8, enter, and it makes an 8 unit line along the path that I was going. So if I'm going horizontal and I type in 8, enter, escape, it gives me an 8 unit horizontal line. Now what unit is it? Technically it's dimensionless because we don't actually have units established. But it is 8 units. So we'll create one of those real quick. Go ahead.
Does it do that whether you're past that point or not got to that point?
That's a good question. So the question is, let's say I'm here at 3.7 and I want to do 8. Will it do it, or will it go beyond, or will it stop? The good news is it'll go beyond and take care of the problem for you. So even though I wasn't all the way there, it finished it out. Conversely, if I'm way too far and I type in 8, it still pulls it back. Now my cursor, you'll notice, is still free. It's still out here, but that's because it's ready to create another line. So even though I drew real far, it still made the 8 unit line. That's why when you first get started with this, oftentimes it's good to hit escape when you're practicing to know what your actual line looks like. Because if I draw that 8 unit line again, sometimes people get confused and they think the full length is 8. But they don't move their cursor around to find out that it's already stopped. So just do me a favor, go around and make 2 or 3 horizontal 8 unit lines on your screen. Just hit the line tool, click a point, head to the right, hit 8, hit enter, hit escape, and then go repeat. After you make a few horizontal 8 unit lines, I want you to go make 3 or 4 vertical 8 unit lines. Same technique. Click the line, click a point, head down, type in 8, enter, escape, and repeat. Okay, now let's actually do something that matters. You know, right now we're just drawing random lines. Let's actually make something specific. Watch this. I'm going to make a square that's 8 by 8. Pretty simple. I click the line command, I click the start point, I head to the right, I hit 8, enter, but I don't hit escape. Why am I not hitting escape right now? I want to keep going, right? So now I'm just going to point my cursor down, and it's all about pointing it in the right direction. One of the things that you'll notice that I do is I take my hand off the mouse when I'm working, mainly because people have a tendency to kind of jar the mouse when they go over to the keyboard. But if you take your hand off the mouse as you get going, as you're starting this off, and you type in 8, you hit enter, you come to the left, you type in 8, hit enter, and a neat little trick, if you actually just hit C, as in Charlie, and hit enter, it closes it for you and cancels the command. So let me demonstrate again. Line command, head to the right, 8, enter. Head down, 8, enter. Head left, 8, enter, C, enter. Or you could just come up and click on your start point, either case. Give it a try. And after you make one 8 by 8, turn around and make a square that's 4 by 4. Same process. Click the command, click a point, head to the right, value, enter, down, value, enter, left, value, enter, and then C, enter, or just click on your start point and hit escape. Either one works. 4x4 in addition to the 8x8. Any questions so far? Any problems? Alright, now here's a question for you. Let's say I want to do some modification. What if I want to make an X in this box? What would I do? What I need to know the dimensions? What are we going to do? Yeah, just hit your line command, click on this corner, click on this corner, and watch this. I'm not going to turn off the line. I'm just going to come over here, click this, and escape. Did I make an extra line? Yes. I made it when I came across this across the bottom. Does it matter? It does not. So if you want to be a little speedier, you don't always have to end the command. You can actually just trace over stuff and do what you need to do. But after you've made one of your 8x8 boxes, go draw you a couple of little lines to actually put an X in the box. Just click on a corner, go to corner to corner, the other corner to corner, and stop. All right, any troubles? Any questions? Yep.
I did that, and I have 2 eggs there, but I don't have the blue. Am I supposed to have the blue?
No, that's just because I had it selected still. That's why. The grips. The grips only pop up when you have something selected. And by the way, I can always modify my stuff after the fact, too, using those grips. That's what they're there for, is editing after maybe you got the length wrong. You can always stretch it out. All right, that's a good stopping point.